welcome everybody to School Through Spirit. I'm DeEtte Renee, your host here on WLTK-DB digital radio. Just so you know, I am personally having some technical difficulties. So that's AKA why I'm late this morning. And you are going to see me looking a little distracted. I apologize. My Mac, I've been away for, as you know, 2 weeks. 2 weeks I've been away. I've been on the road. I have been everywhere and anywhere, which has been amazing. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But I also missed a huge update on the Mac computer. And anybody has a Mac, although they're amazing, amazing computers. I love it. I didn't think I would love it. I do love it. I can't even tell you how much I love it. But what happens is when you miss an update for security reasons, they start to take things away from you. They took my camera away. So right now I am updating my Mac computer. I am bringing out my dinosaur Dell computer. I love my Dell too, but it's old and it doesn't run as efficiently, but we're going to do our best. And at the same time, I'm on my phone. So this should be fun. We don't know which one, but I wanted to still come on. I was thinking about going, maybe cancel, maybe not. But you know what? It is what it is. You know, it is what it is. And I love it because today I asked what I was supposed to talk about today, and they told me transitions. And I went, okay, what are we going to talk about? Well, if this isn't the perfect thing for transitions, I don't know what to tell you. But on a lot of different aspects. And it's not just the fact that I'm working with 3 different devices here, trying to figure it all out, but also the fact that I'm sitting here going, okay, I'll make this work. But also with the aspect of today's November 1st, guys. It's November 1st. And I will tell you, gotta mute that baby. Okay. Hold on. I'm going to shut one of these down because I'm like echo spirit. You guys can hear me anywhere. Hey, hopefully you guys can hear me again. Thank you. Okay, you can hear me at least. You may not be able to see me, but I know you can hear me. We're going to do that aspect for right now. What I'm going to do here, allow. There we go. What I'm going to do here is, I know you can see me on one, and maybe hear me on the other is what I'm hoping for right now. Until I get another computer going, because it's just better. I'm not sure. Anyway, so basically this is what I'm going to do for right now, so I can see the comments and I can see everything else. So we're going to go that way. You're going to get me from different angles. So, but November 1st, guys, do you know what November 1st is? It's just not the day after Halloween, just so you know. November 1st used to be the new year. Okay. It used to be the new year. And it's such an amazing thing because, as we know, these days, the new year is actually, for us, is January 1st, but the original new year used to be November 1st. And I looked up a little bit on it. Not only, as everybody knows, Halloween's about trick-or-treating and things of that nature. It's also about the way it was, because of it was the end of harvest. It was the end of, it really marked fall time. It marked all these things. It really meant a transition of going from one season into another season. Okay, so literally Gosh, I'm just losing all track of thought here. I apologize. But literally November 1st used to be that very the beginning of the new year, and it was a transition. Okay. So what we were doing was transitioning from fall and things of that, fall, harvest, summer was over, spring was over. The season was done with planting, and it was time to really kind of go on about things. So they marked, November 1st as the first of the year, which was a huge transition if you think about that. Because it was we have winter and wonderful, wonderful things of winter. I mean, I don't know about you. I do like winter. I love winter. I'm not a big outside doorsy type person for winter, but I love winter because I love the snow. I love the feeling of the hibernation. I love the feeling of all that. And going from there, if that makes sense. But it also meant a transition of we were going to start. Oh my God, it's making me reset my password on other things. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. But it meant a transition into a new way of life, if you think about it, because you're going from being able to walk freely and move freely and not have so many things on you to, just kind of going, okay, wait a second. We're going to, switch into mode of thinking what the plan is for next year's harvest, what we want to plant, what we want to sow, what we want to, bring through our rewards of our hard work. That was a lot when it came to that. And that's kind of what we're moving into right now, isn't it? We're really moving into that point of our lives where we're going, hey, you know what? What do we want to do with the next year? Even though it's not the first of the year for us, it's not January 1st. This really is marking a time of starting to move into that next season because as you look around, I mean, I just spent the last few days in Rhode Island. Gorgeous, gorgeous, Rhode Island and Massachusetts, but both just such gorgeous places. Oh my gosh. And the trees are just like, holy heck. I can't even tell you how amazing they are to watch this transition of the trees and how things are kind of changing and moving and growing and what literally the climate is doing, and it's awesome. And my phone is falling over. Oh my God, guys. I need technical assistance if there's anybody out there that knows what the heck I'm supposed to be doing with life right now. Um, but there's so many beautiful changes that were happening. And I was like in all my glory watching these things, really in all my glory because of the transformation of the trees and everything going on. And it made me want to start and stop and think. And I'm a big person when it comes to transitions, moving forward, things of that nature, all of those wonderful things. And I'm gonna have technical difficulties all days, guys. That's all there is to it with this. I apologize, but it is what it is. Um, but when I'm looking at the trees transition, it really made me start to think, okay, what is going on in my life? What are things that are changing? What are some of those things that are changing? And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is? And it made me start to think about, do I wanna because I'm a big person that wants to learn more about myself. I always wanna learn more about myself. I wanna push myself. And I will tell you what, I'm not always this big person that goes push, 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 okay? I like to push into something. I like to push a little bit deeper. I like to start to delve into that area within myself, dig up through things. I bring up a lot of past crap. I release it. I understand it. I move on so I don't have to deal with that. And then it's like, okay, what can I do with my abilities? Or what can I do with my business? Or what can I do with my family, my friends? And I'm finding right now, this is the perfect time to do it. I've never been really good with January 1st as a transition period for myself. Okay, never been very good at it. And I think it's because, you know what? I'm not a New Year's resolution type person. I'm just not. I'm one of those people that goes, I'm going to lose 30 pounds. And that's on the first. And by the third, I'm eating cookies. So it doesn't really work for me. But being able to dig in and transition does. Okay. And that really works for me. Like right now, I'm going through a huge transition. I'm down 28 pounds, I think. I'm doing whatever I can to transition this body, to work it better, to move it better, to feel better, to to help ensure I live longer, all those wonderful things. Um, so I really kind of looked at that. I also went into the aspect of looking at seasons because even though I was in Rhode Island and Massachusetts and loving the season change because it's just glorious, it's gorgeous. Because the colors are so vibrant and amazing. But I also know right after this, it's going to be the falling of the leaves. And I'm not a big fan of falling of the leaves. I don't like it. I mean, once the leaves are gone and the snow's on there, it's gorgeous. Don't get me wrong. I love that. But that period of time where I'm watching what to me almost feels like death. It's almost like, oh my God, the trees are dying. And I'm just beside myself. And I had to stop and look at that and go, wait a second, hold on. And I had to realize that it's just a cycle, it's a transition. This is a time where the trees go into hibernation, just like certain animals go into hibernation. And then I had to think, wait a second, and I remember looking out, when I lived in the Northwoods and looking out at some of these gorgeous trees that I've just loved so dearly for like my whole life. And think, wow, when they come back in the spring, they're going to be different. They're gonna be different. There's gonna be some growth, there's gonna be some changes, there might be new leaves, and leaves will be in different places kinda because they grow out a little different, things of that nature, but it's really a time of transition, and it's a time of the trees to kinda just while they're sleeping, to think about how they're gonna come out. So that's really what I really deba think of the season as we're going through this transition, we're going into a winter time, we're going into a cold time, and this is a time for us to literally go within and go, "Wow, what do I wanna come out on the other side?" If it is like a resolution, you wanna lose weight, great, go for that. If it is you wanna go in and just kinda change some things about yourself, perfect time for that. Whatever it might be, this is a perfect time for you to do all those things, okay? So I know for myself, I am going in and I'm going, "Wait a second, what sticks me? What makes me stop? What are those things?" I know you've all heard about roadblocks or periods of time where you just feel like, oh my gosh, I can't get to where I'm going, or whatever it might be, and you just go, what am I doing? Where am I going with this? And I'll tell you what, that's one thing I'm doing right now. I'm going within. I'm looking deeper within myself to say where can I go? What can I do? That type of situation. Um, and it works. It works. For right now, it's working. Okay. Because one major thing I did last night is I went online and I've never been a big person. I mean, I've told you guys how many times I don't do a ton of stuff with astrology. Why? Because I don't know what I'm doing. I don't understand it. It's a whole lot of stuff in there. Um, it's really amazing. Don't get me wrong, truly amazing work, amazing stuff, but it's not my forte because there's so much to learn and grow with when it comes to that. But I will tell you what, I did find a site that does a lot and teaches you a lot about oh my gosh, no matter what I do today, it's just going to be wrong here. It teaches you a lot about different aspects of yourself when it comes to astrology. And I thought, "This is really cool, let's look at this site." So we did, and it talks about your moon sign. Nothing I know my sun sign. My sun sign is I'm an Aquarius, and within that Aquarian, I'm very much the Aquarius. We won't lie about that. I don't think I could if I wanted to lie about the fact that I'm very much an Aquarius, um, and that's just life, okay? I have a lot of the Aquarian tendencies, the whole 10 yards. It's pretty awesome. Let me see, is that any better? I just keep trying to make this better, guys. I don't know if it's working or not, but I keep trying. Um, Maybe a little bit. You get a lot of views in my room though. I am very much an Aquarius. So I look at those tendencies. What am I doing? What am I not doing? But last night I was like, you know what? There's more to this than just being Aquarius. Okay. So when I look at that, so I looked into this astrology thing and it was really cool to find out I have a lunar Scorpio sign. And I'm like, what? My moon, my lunar, my Scorpio? I'm a Scorpio. And that literally at the time of my birth, I'm at the very end of the waning moon, which means that very sliver of the moon before the new moon. And I was like, whoa, that's really kind of cool. And when I really started to look at some of those aspects, I was like, wow, so the site was just telling me so much about it and about me. And I was like, I was really blown away. And it showed me the reasons why I get stuck. It showed me the reasons why, I am who I am, that maybe I'm not always accepted by the populace because really I see things as a huge, big picture. And I'm like, why? Why doesn't anybody else see it this way? Like, I see something that maybe might be catastrophic to somebody else, and I see it as how it's affecting the world and how it's affecting everybody and that big picture of that or whatever it might be. I also have this I used to say stupid knowledge or wisdom, but it's not. It's something that's ingrained in me that I just kind of know things or I understand things and I don't get it, but it's there. It works. Um, I am also very highly intuitive or psychic per se. I've learned how to use that brain of mine to, more to the 10th. And it's not so much with scholarly things, okay? And I never understood that. But it's that aspect of I just know how to kind of learn how to push my brain. And I think it's to do the connection to the other side. And I was like, "Whoa, where's this all coming from?" And when I found out it's all with this lunar rising on my lunar sign, which my moon sign, which is my Scorpio, where I'm born under the very waning sliver of the moon, the last day of it, and all these amazing things. And I'm like, "Wow, that's really cool." And I thought, "Why did I need to know that? Why did I need I'm 50 years old, almost 51. I've never needed to know that before. Why do I need to know that now?" And it was really cool because I really went to bed last night thinking, why did I even get the urge to look at that? Like, I've never cared. And it's not personal because it's just for me, astrology, there's just so much. So it's not something I mean, I tried to understand it once back in the day, figured out it wasn't for me. But now I went, wait a second. And it's because I'm transitioning into a new portion of myself. I'm transitioning into more of I want to know deeper about me, deeper about what makes me tick, what makes me work the way I work, how do I do things, all that wonderful stuff. And with that comes I need more knowledge, I need more understanding. So spirit is going to say, "Hey, here you go." Earlier this year, I don't know if you all know this, but I started this journey. I really started this journey and I had to stop and think about it because I started this journey of understanding me or more of me months ago. Months ago. I'm half adopted, which means I have my biological mother. My biological father chose, not to be part of my life. So I never knew the heritage of that side. I had what he told me, but he wasn't always the most truthful person when I met him. So I went and did a DNA test, on my heritage, and found out that I am a Heinz 57 of Scandinavian blood. Okay, so I'm Scandinavian, including Wales, and it's all Scandinavian, but Wales and Scottish, Irish, a touch of English, Norwegian, Danish, Iceland, all of that, and it's just amazing. And I found out that my forefathers were some of the first to step foot in the United States. I found out my forefathers lived in Salem before I got, before the witch trials. Some of my forefathers actually signed Massachusetts or Boston into being a city and signed into Massachusetts. So my forefathers were the first to step foot in Wisconsin. And it was really amazing. It was amazing to find out what that blood is. And it was amazing to find out that part of my lineage. And now they're taking me on to go, hey, look a little deeper, look a little deeper. So they're telling me to transition into looking at me, who I am deeper as a person, deeper as a soul, and to bring that into me as an understanding, as not just a knowing without not knowing how you know, but also an understanding. And with that, you're able to grow and you're able to push on. And I think that's what this season also marks. It also marks is, what, we didn't just get done with, we're not just getting done with the summer and the spring. And granted, winter hasn't started, but truly the harvest is done. The harvest is done. So, this is a marking time of we may not be into winter yet, but the harvest is done. It's time to start plant. You've harvested everything you needed to for this year. It's time to start going within. It's time to start thinking about what you want, say in the new year. It's time to start thinking about what you're going to plant, what you want to reap, what you want to be, what that next part of you is going to grow into. And start planting those seeds. Start thinking about those now. Okay, this is the time to really start planning that, start plotting that in your mind, and start to do what you need to learn, or what you need to grow with. So that when January 1st comes, our actual first of the year for us now, you can start to plant those things, and you can really start to work on those, because by then, I'll tell you what, you'll be there, you'll be ready. It'll be amazing. It'll be amazing, because then by summer, or by spring actually, you'll be able to start seeing what you've already, the plan is there, everything's there. You've been working on it progressively, you know, and you'll be able to start putting all those seeds in, and it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. Okay. So with that being said, guys, we're going to take a quick break. Um, and when we do come back, hopefully I have Miss Kelly with me.
Nespresso Virtual.
Oh my God, I am just clicking on everything. Oh my gosh. But we'll have Miss Kelly with us. Miss Kelly Brickel is the house numerologist that I like to call her, because she's not only a dear friend, she's an amazing lady, and I'm just deeming her the master of numbers. That's all because that woman knows numbers like there is no, and always striving to learn more about numbers. But come on in, we're making this happen. We're going to talk for a few minutes, and then she's going to announce what you need to bring to the table. But I think we're going to use birth dates again. I don't know. She'll let you know. But you'll be able to come in through Facebook, Instagram, wherever you're coming in from. But come join us, as Kelly's going to be doing some readings. But this is DeEtte Renee here on School Through Spirit, WLTK-DB. We'll be back in a few.
Looking to launch your new masterpiece? Then try something new with Moonbow Publishing and Publications. At Moonbow, we have a strong desire to serve authors in a powerful and meaningful way. After all, you've poured your heart and soul into your writing, and we fully understand and respect that. Remember this: you will own the copyright to your work. You will have the final say on your work before published. Even after all of that, we've saved the best for last. We won't take a percentage sold. Nope, not a penny. Excited about MoonbowPublications.com yet? We thought so. Take advantage of our company's services like book editing, formatting, and covers, publishing, and photography. Moonbow Publishing and Publications has everything you're looking for in a company. Remember, we will not keep any commissions. We are a boutique publishing company focusing on spiritual, health and wellness, and personal growth genres. So come and see what we can do for you at MoonbowPublications.com. That's MoonbowPublications.com. Moonbow Publications, a new kind of publishing company.
Hey, welcome back to DeEtte Renee with School Through Spirit. I'm waiting to see if Kelly is with us. If she isn't, I'll keep talking, because, God gave me this mouth, says to use it, and we'll go from there. So she's not here yet. I know she's coming in, guys. I know because she was messaging me up until she went to sleep last night. But so I just want to, because this is a show that, we will not be doing your weekly reading at the end, obviously, because why? Because we got Kelly doing readings today. But what I will tell you is I want to kind of let you guys know I'm starting classes up again. I know I didn't have a time because I wasn't on the show last week. But we are starting classes up again, guys, and they start tonight. So I've got my beginner's psychic mediumship development starting tonight, 6 p.m. I do it on Zoom. And it's every week I give out lessons, and for 7 classes. It's 8 weekly meetings with me each week that we talk about things on Zoom. I also have got my intermediate starting tomorrow night. So anybody that's taken that beginners with me already, or somebody that's a little bit more advanced, but not quite to professional yet, it really wants to kind of give me a few extra, some extra time, to put into that mediumship. Intermediate starts tomorrow night. It's the same thing on Zoom, 7 lessons, 8 weeks. We talk every day. Okay. There's still time to register for either class. Just find me on Facebook, DeEtte Renee. Go ahead and message me. Would love to have you in. We'll get you into a chat with your class and go from there. Both nights are 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Okay, and class does run for about an hour each night. On that note, Kelly is here. So please welcome Kelly Brickel. Hey, Miss Kelly.
Hey,
how are you
doing?
I am having nothing. I've talked about transitions today, which was really funny. And literally, the Spirit said to talk about them. I said yes, because I'm going through a lot of transitions. And I got on, and because I've been away from my computer for 2 weeks, because I've been traveling all over the US, it had an update to do. And it crashed my cam. So for security reasons, it's like, so you'll see I am up there twice. One of them is for my voice, and so I can see the screen and everything. The other one is my phone, so you can see me.
I was wondering, I'm like, we have a little bit of a different format today.
We do, and it's just because if I X out of my phone, you can't see me. And then you know what I mean? You can hear me, but you can't see me. So
Gotcha.
I am using everything I got, including look out my nose when I'm not looking down here. So,
hey, you made it work. You made it work. Usually when I have two devices together, maybe have them spread out, like they start squealing.
Yeah, well, I've muted one. I've muted the Mac. I've muted the Mac so that doesn't you like this? When I try to look at your face, I'm looking out the window for you. So I'm actually looking at you, and
you're looking towards California. That's what
I'm looking to California. There you go. I like that. And I was on the other coast this week, twice. So good morning, Andrea. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's been.
Were you in the gallery?
I did too. Well, I did too. A week and 2 days ago, I flew to Buffalo, New York, to do an event in a gallery there. But I was there a day early. So you know what I did? I drove to Lilydale, and I walked the city for 4+ hours. I walked and walked. It was just every woods, every street. I just was amazing. And then I had a gallery up in Buffalo on that Sunday, and then that Monday I flew home, and I was home for a couple of days, and then I flew to Massachusetts on last Thursday. And I had a gallery in Rhode Island on Friday evening at one of the universities with a mentor student of mine, Rob Thompson. Both of them were with Rob. And then the next day I had off, so I went to Salem. We walked Salem all day. It was just amazing. And then I flew home.
Salem, Massachusetts, correct?
Salem, Massachusetts. Okay. I was actually there Friday, all day Friday. So 2 days before Halloween, something I've always wanted to do. So it was literally a week of full transitions for me, coming full circle. Because anybody that was with me in Lilydale knows the last time I was there is kind of falling apart.
All right, we all have our moments, right?
I had 30 days of them, but you know what? For me, it was coming full circle. It was a beautiful transition to be there and go, wow, this is just awesome, So, and I'd had my first reading ever in Salem. So I went back to the same store, had another beautiful reading, and another just. Things haven't changed in 10 years, which is really weird because both readings mimicked each other. So I'm like, okay, I'm not quite to where they think I'm going to be, but I'm going to get there.
I mean, hey, it's just one perspective of the great awareness, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I love it. I'm freezing on one, not on the other. This is really weird. So
you're what? You just said you're freezing on what? Oh, the device.
It's like my phone keeps freezing on me, but I see myself it's weird.
Yeah.
So what's going on with you lately?
Gosh, I'm just feeling the year and the wisdom that it gives to me. That's what it is. I'm doing a clairvoyance class, and so I have information on my website about that. been posting on social media, but it's all about kind of what we talked last time. I've been, focused on teaching clairvoyance and about the auras. So I have that coming up. And this year, I've been just really open to just kind of like a quieter year. So I haven't been like putting out this or putting out that. It's just been, I think, a transition about like health and awareness and strengthening foundations. And it's like every time that I try to push myself a little bit this year, my body goes like, nah, no, you're going to feel like exhausted on one level. And so this is just a time where you have, what you need. So when you want to go faster or when you want to push yourself, you've already done all that and you're not like juggling. So like it's been a quieter year and I'm kind of thankful for that. And I'm not used to it completely too. So, but I like it. I like it.
Do you feel like, because like for me, because when we talked before, I was having the same thing, you know what I mean? Just, they put me back. It's only been
back. I love it.
Well, I used to run like for 3 years, 4 years. It was like run. I mean, it was like, I was in a different state. I was always driving. I was always doing all these things. You know what I mean? And like we talked, they'd done the same thing with me this year. And then all of a sudden, boom, like a month ago, they said, put your running shoes on. Put your running shoes on. And I'm like, wait a second. The year's not over with. It's not done. And then it was so funny because then I started looking at more astrology again. God forbid I looked at astrology because we both know I'm never going to learn this. You know what I mean? Just give me the information. I'll walk away with it. Let somebody else know it. You know what I mean? And I learned that November 1st used to be the first of the year.
November 1st used to be the first of the year. Yeah.
It used to be. And I was blown away by that. I was blown away. But also when I thought about it, I was like, wait a second. How would Kelly look at that? Well, if this was November 1st was the first, I mean, we're at 1-1-1. You know what I mean? No wonder why it's all about new beginnings. You know what I mean? So I was like, well, maybe that makes sense. You know what I mean? Maybe that makes sense to me.
It all, it's all consciousness of systems. So when the systems changes, the consciousness changes and how we relate to the system. So, we're in the calendar of 1 through 12. So that's where our consciousness of cycles is going to be because, universally with the world, I don't know about other cultures if they, choose a different system, but that's where the world consciousness is, the 1 through 12. So that's why we kind of are in that, I guess.
Okay.
Routine. But there is a consciousness to the, 1 through 10, and then the rebirth be in November too as well. And I would have to kind of look into the history of that a little bit more because I remember hearing that in the past. But it would for every, I guess, rule, there's a reason of why that would play out.
Right. And when I looked into it, I was really blown away because when I wasn't looking into astrology when I learned about this. It was like astrology, Halloween, all of that. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like souls of the, dead type, and all that. It wasn't about the Halloween aspect of it, but it kind of threw in this little bit of tidbit of knowledge that November 1st, they had chosen to be the first of the year because it was the end of harvest. It was the end of, reaping what you sow, all that type of stuff. So it was like, okay, the harvest is all in, and all the different states, whatever the harvest had come in, and it was a time to put your equipment away. And November 1st was like that marking of now we have to start planning the next year. Because if you look back at before seasons, I mean, I don't know about, well, you're from Illinois, so you understand this. Our winters are not quite the same as they were 20 years ago. By November this time, we used to have snow coming. I mean, and I get it when I look at, okay, how many years passed? November was snow. So this was our transition, period. And it wasn't winter yet, technically, but you weren't planting anymore. You weren't pulling the corn up anymore. You're not doing any of that.
Well, it's interesting. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, that's what I'd learned about it. That's why they marked this as the new year, is because it was to them the end of what they could bring in for 1 year.
It's really interesting with that, because then, with the seasons, you are going spring through winter. Like spring is the rebirth. It's like purity, the innocence. And then winter is, the old soul energy, the transformation. You deal with concepts of transformation in fall and in winter.
Right,
And the winter is kind of like, sometimes you're already transformed. You're the leader. You're carrying the torch for
right.
the other seasons. So it's interesting that in some ways November is considered like, okay, we've hit fall, and then now it's rebirth, and then these extra months I really feel like calculate in the energy of winter, because you can figure out, what do we learn? I hit my transformation, but there's that extra time to, I guess, really solidify, that next level that you can enter, rather than just, I'm doing it all over again.
Right. And I
Don't you?
like it. Yeah, because I was talking about that, and I'm like, I've never been a person to do like New Year's resolutions because I suck at them. It's like, oh, I'm gonna lose weight, and 3 days later, I'm eating cookies. You know what I mean? It's like I need time. I'm like a spur of the moment person that needs time to be spur of the moment. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's like I started thinking about it. I'm like, wait a second. If anytime I've wanted something to work for the first, I always have to start thinking about it early. So I'm like, wait a second. If I want to lose weight, if that's going to be my resolution, if I start thinking about it, planning about it, getting my head a process about this might take me a month or two to get around the fact that I'm not going to eat pasta for weeks. You know what I mean? And then actually be the first of the year, like, boom, here's my transition. Does that make sense? I mean, I know it's kind of ass backwards, but I'm like, with time, everything takes growth. Transition doesn't happen overnight. It takes a period of time, you know? So
I think,
I
oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I think there's all different types of transitions, but in order for our consciousness to be ready, we do need more time. Everybody is a different type of manifester based
Mhm.
on when the seed has been planted, consciously or unconsciously, because all of a sudden it's like, whoa, when did that happen, right? But I think for most things, and I want to encourage like intuitives who are really more aware of how they manifest and how they want things to go and come into light. These spiritual workers who are in our community, it's like, yeah, most times that is the rule. You need a little bit more time. Like, if you get a call for an emergency booking, unless you've set up your energy to take emergency bookings, don't take the emergency booking the same day or next day. You actually need your energy ready to do the reading or to do the healing. If in your mind, you weren't expecting to do that day.
Yeah. No, and the funny thing is the spirit is the only thing I can do right now. Everything else in my life is like, whoa, 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 back up. I need a month. Spirit, I'm like, oh, you want me to do reads? Okay. Like one of the galleries I did last week, it was an event. I really thought I'm just going to go and do this gallery, be done, blah, blah, blah. And something told me, just buy a little chalkboard just in case. And so I did, threw it in my purse, went there, not prepared. And they went, oh, here's your table. And I went, for what? And they went, oh, you're going to do readings too. I'm like, well, that's why Spirit told me to bring a chalkboard. Put it down, sat down, said, boom, boom, boom. Not a problem. Now, if you would have asked me to do my makeup right now, it'd been like, wait a second. I need to prepare. Anything else would have been, I need to prepare, So.
But a month ago, you said, different story, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So what is 111? Today? What is the significance of today in numerology? That 311. I know it's about new beginnings, but I know it's got to be more.
Mm-hmm. So it's 11-1
Hard to
or
switch on you.
what did you say? I didn't hear you.
It's hard to switch it up on you so quickly.
Oh, it's okay. It's the name of the game. We're talking. So it's 11-1, right? Yes. We are in a world year of 5. So we will use that with our calculations when we're figuring out our month, day, and world year, of course, and how we apply that to everyone's individual charts. But the emphasis of the day is that 111, and that's really all about like openings, new beginnings. If you're familiar with like, zeros and ones, and a lot of people are really fascinated with zeros and ones and how like the laws of the universe work, like on and off. And so 111 is like open, 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 on. And so it's basically like anything that you've been dreaming, wanting, wishing, like it's your chance to make it happen. And you have a clean slate, a fresh slate to go about and do that. So there's actually a lot of really high energy in the air. And it's like a beautiful time for, even if you haven't figured out what you want to do, to actually start to innovate the new person or some new ideas that you want to get in motion. So there's like this really nice vibrancy in the air of mental energy. And also, how can I put it? 111 isn't always the greatest manifester, but it's the energy that you need to start to manifest.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does.
So 11111 doesn't always have earth energy behind it. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it's like boom, 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 because the 1 really stands alone and can get a lot done. It's a really well-balanced number and what it can bring to the table. It's almost like one and done, right? But a lot of times 1 has a lot of mental energy. And so it's like fiery, it's airy, it inspires, it uplifts, it draws attention. It's very attractive. When people have a lot of 1 energy around them, others can't look away. They're like, there's something about that person, or wow, this person's talking, I better listen. There's something attractive of that energy that makes people stop and go, what about this?
Okay. I love that. I love that, because I knew there had to be more that, because for me, it's just because I'm not the numbers person. To me, I always just get whatever that, for myself, I will Google what's 111 mean. You know what I mean? And new beginnings, it's pretty, blah, 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 but it doesn't give you as much information. So I love how you explain that. I love how you explain that. So I know and I'm going to bring you back on in January if you don't mind, because I'm super excited about that. I got you and Misty 4 times a year at least.
I love it. I love being a resident numbers.
I announced that today. I'm like, I got a resident numerology. I'm calling her the master of numbers. I'm giving you a title. You didn't even know it. But and we're not quite there yet, but what do people have to kind of look for? I mean, because we have 2 more months left, and I get it, but people are starting to go, oh my God, what do I have to look forward to next year? Like, we've had one really heavy year of COVID. We've had another year of like still COVID, not quite, you know what I mean? Kind of in this over it, but not quite done with it. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, what is that next year bringing to us?
So we're going to be in a world year of 6, and really that's all about work and service.
Okay.
To give kind of perspective to that, we're in a year of 5. Last time we were in a year of 5 was 2012. A lot happened in 2012.
Right.
And really, the world was set this year for a lot of potential systems to change, right? We look at George, what happened with the voice of racism changing within the world, and social rights and activism, and even with like the financial institutions changing, with like the banks and the world accepting crypto. That really changes things on an international level. It's way more important, actually, that just mentioning that on a world level, that's a separate conversation than how it affects the United States personally.
Right.
And, just in government, things are continuing to change, and even the disclosure of, UFOs,
Yeah.
how the government has accepted that. And so
Did
there's a
they
lot.
actually say yes they were there? Because I missed the whole. I knew they were supposed to announce it, but they actually announced something.
They did indirectly. They said we accept what is it? Exotic vehicles. We acknowledge the existence of exotic vehicles. They have been present. We have seen them. We're acknowledging that they're real. They haven't made an official statement like that exotic vehicles equal aliens are here, but they said it without saying it. They call them unidentified exotic vehicles, and they were talking about flying around Earth. Like
I'll accept their answer then. But that's
flying in the skies, not belonging to a country that we know of.
right. Well, I guess that's huge, though. If you think about it, it's huge. It's even that little bit, it's huge.
Well, it's also the first time they acknowledge video footage.
Oh,
They actually started using video footage. One can wonder, I guess, how much they want to show, because the video footage that they are acknowledging is quite basic. But they are saying like, oh, we have, footage of this, and this is another exotic vehicle, that has been identified so-and-so. And they have been doing that on the news.
right.
Actually, local news has been permitted to do that, which is a huge step. It's not just like on YouTube or conspiracy theorists or documentaries.
Right.
So, like, world consciousness is changing. My goodness, like this year, it's almost like it's been more and more accepted, so you don't kind of even think about it. But we are becoming so much more sensitive as a species, and we've done a lot of groundwork since 2012 to allow that to come into being. So, people used to be like, oh, you're a sensitive snowflake, aren't you? And now they're understanding things about like trauma, PTSD, anxiety, depression. It's become actually a real thing to consider when you're dealing with a person on a daily basis and acknowledging their emotional self. That people are much more not just careful, but considerate. So a lot of things are changing with how we function as a species. And next year is really about doing work to make sure that comes into light, and we're continuing to change, and things are not just in the media of like, oh, this is happening, breaking news. It's like, we are working towards this. This is another thing implemented that has been started, and making more normalcy around that.
I love that. I love that, because I think that gives us something to look forward to. You know what I mean? I think that gives us something, because we've been all looking at like, oh my God, and what's going on? When are we ever going to, nobody understands what's going on with the world, but when you look at the numbers, it really makes sense. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it helps to give clarity on energy. You'll understand kind of why things happen the way they happen. I'd have to kind of go back into the numbers, but when George Floyd was happening, I gotta enunciate in the morning. When George Floyd happened, and things outbroke, the numbers of the world really echoed that it was going to be a busier time. It was a time more about, communication, things, high energy, right? So it made sense that there was going to be a world narrative or a country narrative that was going to be a breaking story. And same for this year. So in November, we're hitting a world month, world month of 7. So it is a time that's going to be a little bit more quiet this year. You're not going to see as, shocking headliners as you would on another month, for instance. It's a time where a lot of people are going to be a little bit more conscientious of the couple of months that they have left, and you'll see people a lot more inward than outward. So that's why things aren't as salacious on average. And it's just really using their final months to go, what do I want out of this year? So that's kind of like the overall theme I'm feeling for November, and we can talk about that some more. But like in December, we hit an 8, a month of 8. And anytime you have a month of 8, it's all about truth and things kind of hitting the fan. So 8 is like, yeah, right.
Oh boy, Christmas.
What's up, Christmas? And 8 is is that truth number, and it goes hand in hand a lot with law and government, or law and the judicial system. It's basically, what you reap, you sow, and 8's that sowing. It's like, hello, like you can't escape the truth. So let's see what we got in the world, because it's coming to light. So you see sometimes cases that have, been unexplained, or, there has been a lot of time around a verdict closed around an 8. So major change and sometimes shocking things happen in an 8, because you're like, well, where did that come from? And it's like, if you just followed the trail, you would see that this was up for happening the entire time, and it's just boom, now you notice.
Right. I love that. I love that. I love that. I love all the information you have to give, because it's huge. So I'm just in awe. So
Maybe
we got
sometimes.
it's mind blowing to me. I'm like, wow. And I stop and think, God, if I would just stuck with numerology back 24 years ago, I could have had that intelligence in my brain. But it was, everybody dabbles. It wasn't mine to dabble in. And I love how you do, though. I love how you love those numbers and how you give so much meaning to them and understanding, So I love that. So we're going to start a couple of readings here, if you don't mind, because we're at the, at the top of the hour, and I want to do that. But do you want to start with mine today? And then we'll go on to a couple others, just because, it's been a long time. So you're doing the birth dates, right?
Yeah, and also there's if there's any questions too for numerology, I'm happy to take them. Or like if we want to talk about any comments, like I noticed that someone was talking about multiple. Yeah. She has like 3 of the same number in her birth date. I'm happy to go off the flow of whatever comes up.
Well, let's start with Andrea, because Andrea's got to run. So we're going to start with Andrea, and her birth date was 2/11/1969. Before she has to run. So I want to get hers in. I told her, you know what? Watch the rerun if we need to. But she's like, we do it right now. So let's do that.
Do it right now.
Let's do it right now.
And
I like that number.
2/11/1969, correct?
1969.
Oh, now it's up. I see it. Okay, excellent. Okay. And okay, cool. I'm just double checking the math on Andrea, and all right, yep, and yep. Okay, so Andrea is a life path 2. She's a personal day 2 and an attitude 4. So I'm gonna jump around kind of how I read people, but I'll throw out some, calculations sometimes of, attitude, life path, or personal day, and we might talk about what that means too if you're curious. But the number one thing that I see within Andrea's chart, just a glimpse of her chart, because we're just doing glimpses, there's so much more with numerology, with how we understand a person, and the comprehensiveness really paints a story. So I want people to know that this is just a glimpse in understanding the person, right? The first thing I know about Andrea is that she is a person who needs to plan. She is a person that needs to go a little bit slower to find her niche, and to find that she has the momentum to get things done, because she has that 4 attitude, and she has 2 2s. And so when you have an abundance of 4s and 2s or 8s, you need to be a little bit more methodical in the way you go about things, or you will get overwhelmed. Okay. And that's like a really good message, I think, to give a lot of people who have energy like this, because, the world moves fast. And there's some people designed to go really fast, and there's some people that are designed to take a little bit more time. And that's because they're a little bit more detail orientated. They're a little bit more, curious about, I guess, how things work. And they're avid learners, and they're really patient with how they want to do a good job. And that's how they are in their hearts. And it translates to actually a lot more than just their hopes and dreams, but actually their energy, how their energy most optimally works. So my number one advice to Andrea is, don't get concerned about, you're not on time, you're not on pace. Why isn't this going fast enough? Because you are actually A-okay. And also just to acknowledge her sensitivity. She has a life path too. And people who have life path twos, they will always throughout their life be in this kind of question and sometimes frustration of, wow, like, why don't I feel balanced no matter when I guess feel a wreck, of course, or when I'm like really taking care of myself, like juicing or exercising, why do I feel so out of whack? And it's because being a two is you're defined by others, honestly. And that sounds really weird from a soul perspective, but a two's life is about sensing others, loving others, making peace. So you're constantly balancing energies, not just your own. So you will always be in a place where you are getting yourself centered. So that is the consideration. Do I feel centered? Do I feel powered? Do I feel in management of my own energy? Not do I feel balanced, because you will always feel different vibrations and different pulls around you from family, from friends, from work, and just a natural state of any environment you are in. You will feel the highs and lows, and no, that is not you. That is just your sensitivities. So that is something that I really want to give to her, and I guess calming why she feels so all over the place sometimes. And she is in so she's in a year of 9 personally for herself. And so a lot of things are coming to an end, a lot of things are coming to a close. And sometimes people feel like, whoa, what's next? In a 9-year, really, what's next? And what's next is next year you get to work more so on yourself with success. You'll have things lined up for things to go much easier. Okay. So this year might be a little bit much in some departments. Next year is going to be a little bit more easy.
That is awesome.
And that's just talking about energy, that's something too. If somebody has, I'm just going to vibe however I go. But if someone wants to put down their numbers and say, hey, I want a relationship, or business, or, can you tell me a little bit about family? Put that down too.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Oh, she says love, LOL. She likes that. So
okay.
Beautiful.
That's more of acknowledgement, right? That's more of an acknowledgement of just kind of like her general energy. Okay.
Yeah.
And
I like that.
like she likes to be prepared. Andrea likes to be prepared. And I'm just letting her know you can't possibly be prepared for everything that's going to come your way except yourself. And so that's why my most important piece of information for her is to check in. Am I centered? Because you will always be enough with whatever you handle if you are centered and connected to something greater than yourself.
Beautiful. She says, thank you. Yes, I do. I love it. Awesome. Let's go on to the next one. We got Sherry Loffen. I always want to call her Sherry, but I know her first name's Debray. We have got 12168 is her birth date. She put past on one of the comments, family, my 3 sons.
Family, 3 sons.
And I do wish you luck with your relationship, Andrea. Awesome.
Okay. Oh wow, we have. It's funny when we do these shows. Sometimes we have like themes going on, and
Yeah.
so we have another attitude 4.
Awesome.
Andrew was an attitude 4. Sherry, did you say to call her Sherry?
Mhm.
Okay.
I do.
I'll
It
call you
just
Sherry for now too. There is an attitude 4 as well. Personal day 3 and life path. Let's see here. 4. Yep. We got a 5 plus 6. All right, that's why. And then so we got a 6. All right, cool.
Yep, even she says Sherry.
Sherry, Sherry, baby. All right, so fun. All right, cool. So we got 1. She's a life path 1. All right, I'm gonna take a drink of my water really quick.
Perfect. It's earlier there, so I know it's still water, unless she's still up late. Because you're an up late type of person. So
yes and no. I think I just hover towards. I think when night happens, you're just kind of like up and aware of certain things, and I'll gravitate towards that a little bit, but I don't try to stay up. Like I don't relish in staying up like I used to. So I float, right? But yes, DeEtte.
I laugh about it because I mean, if you look at it, it's all about perspective, right? It's always about perspective. So me being in Wisconsin, I'm in Central Time. You're 2 hours behind me, California. So I'll be like, oh my God, what was she doing up at like 1 o'clock in the morning? I'm like, wait, it was like 11.
Yeah, that's true. Because I like sent you something at
It's
11. Yeah.
all night long. It's just the time difference.
There is that, but always perpetually working on it. You know that mornings and me have always been interesting. So that's where you're like, how you doing?
I was never a morning person until I had to be, and now I'm like, oh, somebody's like, it's like in a few weeks I don't have to, I was asked to, and I'm so excited to do this paranormal investigation. I'm super excited. I'm like, well, what time? They're like, we're going to start this time in the morning. It'll probably get done between 2 and 3 in the morning. I'm like, what time? I'm in bed at 10.
Yeah.
And to boot, we're going to be in Eastern time. So for me, that's an extra hour. I'm like, no.
Is this online or in person?
No, it's in person.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, with investigations.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd be cut out for that. Like, I like to be up late sometimes, very rarely now, but I'll find myself up late a lot by accident, but I'll be like in the quiet, right? Yeah. And I like, if I'm not home by like 9 or 10 p.m., I start like saying like, ooh, like I just need rest and relaxation, right? Yep. So to be up that late and out, yeah, it's just like, it feels so unnatural, doesn't it?
It does for me now. Yeah, it does. I mean, somebody actually asked me to go out not that long ago, and I'm like, well, what's out?
Like, what's out?
Yeah. What's out? And 2, how late is out to you? And they're like, well, out is a bar, and out late might be 1:30. I'm like, no. I'm like, it's not me anymore. It was me 15 years ago. Might have been even 10 years ago. But I'm a grandma.
Someone was trying to do shots of limoncello with you at 1 a.m. or something.
It's not going to happen. Don't even call me at 1 a.m. to do a shot. I ain't doing it. You want to do it at 8 so I go to bed by 9? We're good.
Yeah, never been my scene. Anytime I'm up late, I'm, in my own energy, something for my soul or something like that, or in deep contemplation, or sometimes distracted, but I'm not like out.
Yeah. I'm just like, I'm not out. Beautiful. So we should probably get back to Sherry, because I totally like took us down a different avenue.
No worries. Okay. So Sherry is an attitude 4, a personal day 3, and a life path 1. And so she is in a year, just like what we talked about prior, of a lot of things coming to an end. She mentioned about family. She wanted her focus. And when you are in a year 9, like she is, a lot of things with family are going to come up. You know, you will see the family a little bit more often this year. Issues with, harmony within the family, stress within the family, dynamics in the family. They're meant to be healed this year. So you will, see a lot of, I guess, things to kind of make you go, ooh, I'm uncomfortable right now. Like, ooh, okay. I'd rather this not happen. 9 is connected to family very deeply in numerology. And a lot of times it's about letting old wounds go with family. Okay. It's about healing the past. Sometimes it's about ancestral energy. It's about carrying the torch for family, being a leader, even though family doesn't agree with you, understand you, or accept you. It's about really taking ownership for who you are and where you've come from, and either letting that go or leaning into that because there's love there. Okay, so that's really what it calls for this year for you, leaning into love and letting go of what doesn't serve you with family. And 9 as well is a very spiritual year. So you have to lean into trusting and surrendering. You talk about your sons, and things are playing out how they have to play out with your sons, because your sons have to have soul growth. Okay. Yeah, you wouldn't choose it. Yeah, you want things to be more spelled out because those are your babies, but that's the way that things need to go in order for them to be where they need to be in their maturity and as men, what they're going to come into later in their life. So really, I'm feeling like there's themes where there's uncomfortability, but there's a rainbow ahead, right? There's a rainbow ahead. And 9 is always about like family, a little bit too much or a little bit uncomfortable. Okay. So just know that you're in that theme right now. The 4 allows us to plan. The 4 allows us to feel like we have a sense of things, and we can take charge. And really, it's about setting things up for the best energy, setting things up for the greatest success, and then the rest you just have to let go of. Okay, so know that you're doing everything that you need to do, and just continue to surrender and let go of the fear and the worry around it, because that fear and that worry comes into play with the environment and how you're setting the stage. So let the fear and worry go as you can, and that environment that you're creating with family will soften and ease, and everyone will feel less anxious. And really, our children follow our lead. So it's about energetically, what can I do when I can't fully control what other souls are choosing? Energetically, I will set them up for success with lessening the anxiety in the house, with lessening the worry in the house, and having confidence in the bigger plan, and confidence that some of these things are happening for a reason. We'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Maybe there's unnecessary things in play, but some of these things have to happen exactly the way that happened. So consider that too, and have peace in that. Life path 1 is really all about leading. Okay, so you're a fantastic matriarch. Okay, and to step into that more and more with how you can change what's happening to, I guess, the situation through your sons and your family feeling like they can come to you for advice. They can come to you because you give a safe space, not because you're changing things, not because you're controlling things, not because you're telling them what to do, is because you're creating a safe space, and you have good, I guess, leadership with making them feel secure. Okay. And that's the things that they're going to want to emulate. And that's the things that they're going to come to you for, that space that you give. And then that's how the advice and everything will unfold without you leading directly to them in a way where they're like, well, I don't need to hear that right now. Or, they're just automatically going to want it because you're setting the space. And I hope that makes sense.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. I love that. She's been typing things like "let it go, let it be." I thank you so very much. I think you nailed it right on the head with everything with her. So fantastic job. Oh my gosh, I love it. We had one from Brenda. Brenda is 8/22/1950. Brenda has been a long time. She's been listening since almost the beginning. I love
wow.
it.
What's
Yeah.
up? Okay. All right. Personal day 4, and then attitude 3, and then 6 and 6. Okay. 6. Yep. Okay. So she is in a cycle of. Okay. So Brenda,
she's crying. Sherry said she's crying right now. She says, "You are awesomeness."
Awesome. Thank you. I'm glad. It's a difficult year, and you're going to learn a lot of things this year, and it's going to be much better going forward. But this is a difficult year. And sometimes we have those and we just want to encourage people, and they look to you. That's the last thing I'm going to say, Sherry. They do look to you, and you get to continue to define what you give. So with Brenda, thank you so much. With Brenda, she's in a year of 8. So 8 is really when we look at our health. It's really when things come to light that we've been ignoring, when we can have the greatest amount of change within sometimes how things flow financially for us. 8's all about manifestation of physical things. So the fun stuff is the money stuff, right? Because we're like, oh, this came easier to me, or sometimes you will get unexpected help from family or friends, and it seems like things kind of just flow more easy with you having to worry about financial things. So that can be nice, but also it can be a little bit of a stick in a mud if we've been ignoring the things that we need to do, the recipes for manifestation. Okay. And since 8 is such a physical number, it deals with our bodies, right? It deals with our own bodies because we are the instruments of manifestation. So really pay attention to your health this year. Yes, the year is coming to a close, but still we are in, full swing of that 8 energy for you. Really allow yourself to get to the doctor, take tests that maybe you've been putting off. The number one thing is self-care. Okay. And the number one thing as well is, if you can, to really kind of take into account, like document where you have been. If you can, the last 10 years, yes, but at least last year and this year. And 8 is all about being accountable and stepping up, right? It's about delegating our energy and directing our energy so we can do what we need to do. So for 8s, it can be really great, or it can be a really heavy year. And I see that you have a 3 and a 9. And so naturally, you are a people person. Naturally, whether it's easy or not is a different story, right? Always. But naturally, you vibrate highly around people. You are a great and wonderful helper of people. You are in your natural element when you are coming to a cause, lifting others up. that is your natural element, and really do self-maintenance this year so you can feel like you can be that and you can lift off some heavy burdens. Okay. You're going into next year, and a lot of those things will come to light with family and friends, and even, just I just feel like a lot of local neighborhood. It's like I keep thinking about like neighborhood, family, friends for you. There's a lot of things where you're gonna have to change and do things differently. Let people go, kind of redefine your life, like redefine your social structure. It could even, there's something like I keep tuning into like moving energy. So it's like, and I keep looking at your neighborhood. So it's one of two things. It's either there's some type of transition. I'm not sure it's within the house because you feel pretty steady, but there is some type of transition where you're not going to be doing the same things in the same way with your same routine. Your routine is going to get busted up, whether you like it or not. And that's going into next year. And if you kind of take into account what's been bothering you and what's been heavy and what's been on your mind, a lot of those things next year are going to be quite easy because you saw it coming. That's all I'm going to say. Okay.
She says she's been looking at her health and her finances a lot lately, and that she is a social worker also.
Okay. Yep. She's made to uplift people. She's made to help people. And we talked about, you might not always like it sometimes because she's in the trenches.
Yeah.
If you're life path 9, you're stepping up for humanity. You're taking on some hard roles.
Right. She says she's working on her retirement right now also.
That makes sense. I will say I was like kind of feeling into that, but I kind of felt like it's going to go better than you expect. There are always ways to make things easier. There's always unexpected, like, oh, that happens to work. And I think if you kind of allow yourself to see different ways for how things can go, things are going to come easy, because the energy around like retirement, I just feel is good for you. So I don't feel obstacles. Maybe you're perceiving obstacles, maybe you're worrying, maybe you're overthinking. If you kind of just say, can I have some help in this category, or universe, make me laugh, surprise me. I just actually think you have good energy enough where, the universe actually would very easily surprise you. So with finances, you're going to be just fine. And there's always ways to change things where, you could have an easier load, and life will show you plenty of those opportunities because you're made. I know this sounds funny, and because you're retiring, but you are actually, made to work in a way where you'll always have opportunities if you want to make a little extra money because people need you. Right. So you're made to be of service is more so a better way to put it.
Oh, that's like a double-edged sword if you think about it.
It is. She gets to choose that.
You never get to quit.
She gets to choose, but I really do see like she will always have enough. And if she wants to have more, there's going to be opportunities for her to have more. She doesn't have to rush, but she doesn't have to worry. So the number, like before she even asked about retirement, I thought about retirement and I go, money, retirement. Yeah, she's fine. That's what I thought. Yeah, before she asked it, I'm like, she's fine.
That's wonderful. I love that. I hope that helps, Brenda. I love it. We also have now Miss Ashley Prather from YouTube right now, and her birthday is 6/22/1982.
Okay, cool. 6/22/1982. She is an attitude 1, and she's a 2. Two plus 6, so that would be yep. Okay, so she is a life path 6, an attitude 1, a personal day 4. I'm going to take a drink.
I've been drinking the whole time. God, that sounds bad. I'm like two-fisting it here, Kelly.
That sounds worse.
Shake onto my water. I will drink like 6 of these today, but it's working. I'm losing weight.
Hey, flush.
That's all I've been doing.
You know, water loosens up the energy. I know that sounds funny. You know, everyone has different methods to loosen up the energy, but water balances the fire, you know?
Yeah.
When we're doing spiritual work, we're working a lot with fire, unbeknownst to us,
Right.
sometimes, and we get really dry in our throat, right? And we need that water to help push everything and help continue to flow everything. So yes, you will always see us drinking a lot.
And it's weird because the more I drink, now I'm waking up in the middle of the night to drink water, which is just why am I doing this? Like, I'm supposed to be sleeping. I wake up going, oh my God, I need to drink. So
that can be because your body has, you know, a greater need for hydration on you know, it could be a spiritual level, but it also could be a hormonal thing too.
Oh, yeah.
When our hormones fluctuate, we can get dehydrated. So
God, hi. What do you want? Can I please be done with them soon?
Again, yeah, those hot flashes, it's like it's rush of fire. And you know, we're gonna get back to Ashley, but it's just inspiring me to talk about, like, you know, we go through they talk about, like, in spirituality, like the 3 different stages of being a woman. I forget what it is. You're gonna have to help me. It's like maiden something, and then the crone. What's the middle one? What's do you remember the middle one?
The maiden, and then the crow, I think, is what it is. Because you got the single, the married, and the almost departed.
Okay, so
I think it's the maiden, the maid, and then the crow is what I think it is. But I Google, but my phone is in use.
It's okay, no worries. But you know, look it up. It's a very classic thing for anyone who's curious of it. But what I'm focusing on is, you know, when women come into menopause, they are really entering kind of being comfortable with, like, the crone type energy.
Oh, and it's the maiden, the mother, and the crone.
The maiden, the mother, and the crone. Thank you. I couldn't remember the mother. And the crone energy is embracing that fire energy. Like the mother energy, that's like the water energy, but like the crone energy is fire. And so it's like, you know, and fire is spirit. And, you know, it's about letting go of the ways of earth. It's not being as fixated on your body. Yes, you should always take care of your body, but it's about, you know, greater spiritual truths. That's why, right?
I've moved totally into the crone. I mean, I've been there for a while, and now I'm just losing the weight for the health, and that's it. It's like, I know I'll probably never get the body of a 20-year-old back, and that really is not my issue. It's just like, let's get healthy. You know?
That's all it ever should be, you know? Yep. And it's not just about shedding pounds. It's about shedding habits and energy. A lot of time we're holding on to things that we are protecting ourselves with. Right?
Yep. And that's exactly what this is. I always told people, you know, I went from 120 pounds to 200 plus overnight, but it was a shield. It was quick. It was like, boom, here you go. And it's like, I used to be a smoker, and I quit smoking, and the weight just rapidly came on. But I literally went from a smoke shield to a physical shield. And now I'm like, I don't need the shield anymore. I've got spirit. I got my growth. I got my wisdom. I don't need this anymore, you know? So it's time to shed that. So, and I think a lot of people don't look at weight. They don't look at these things that way, but it is.
Where we hold our weight in our body is where we're protecting ourselves, or where we're holding back our energy within our body.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
You know, we all have it. You know, I have it. We all have it in places. Yep. So, you know, we're just talking about energy, everyone. That's all, and how it manifests.
Believe it or not, it's just, I mean, people don't look at it that way, but it's all energy. When you look at, if you go to Reiki, just simple Reiki practices, which a lot of people understand, we do to ourselves for a reason, you know, and it's all energy. So
it's all energy. Exactly. So let's go back to
Ashley.
Ashley. You're talented. It's just the nature of things. So yeah, Ashley, for some reason we were talking about fire and, coming
Energy.
energy. And sometimes we get hot flashes, right? That's helping us come into an age of more spirituality. But okay, so yeah, it's interesting. So she's a life path 6. So anytime someone's a life path 6, they live their life in service to what they consider family to be to them. Okay. So it's, your blood relatives sometimes, not always, or sometimes it's the family that you create and make along the way. But it's not everyone that you like. It's not everyone who's close to you. It's those that you've indoctored into saying, you're part of my tribe, or, you help me, I help you, I have a heart connection, welcome to the family. Okay. So it's about cultivating family and feeling like you can give yourself to a worthy cause of something so important and intimate, and to protect that. Okay. So her life will always be about making sure that she feels respected by her family. So 6 are hard workers, and all they need is just the thank you for everything that they do. So you need to find friends within your life that consider you and can acknowledge and appreciate the type of person that you are. Sometimes, we can be a little bit quiet and we don't exactly share our feelings and our thoughts with individuals. And we wonder, at the end of the day, where's the loyalty at, right? And to have conversations about that, and to find people who aren't afraid to shout their love from the rooftops. And so that's a thing that I'm feeling within Ashley's energy. Her attitude is 1. Very much, this is a person who does things in her own way. She doesn't let people bog her down. And so she will always be, drumming to the how can you put it? Bobbing to the tune of her own drum. I'm not saying it right, that saying, but she's meant to do things her own way. Sometimes people, might consider her methods like a little bit unconventional, or, her close friends might joke like, oh, you do things like a little bit strange. And, that's the way that she's always done it. And that's what makes her special and unique, and to, again, honor these things. And sometimes, I guess, we're talking a lot about how others respect us and how others see us when we're in Ashley's energy. So it's really about self-confidence. It's really about coming into your own. It's really about accepting that you don't have to be a part of the system to help people. Right. Yes. And I feel like she has that mentality, but there's nothing wrong with, being a part of things and just knowing at the same time your identity rock solid. Like, I don't have to change who I am to be in this role. I'm just here because I feel like I'm called here. I feel like I'm in the right place. I feel like that I have to take a leap of faith. And the reason why I'm saying it like that is because I really feel like there's kind of second guessing sometimes, because like there's a theme of being genuine and, knowing what you want. And it's like second guessing because you're not sure of what exactly that you want, and not everything fits quite the mold. But with her attitude 1, she doesn't have to worry about that. All she has to do is, follow her heart if something's interesting, and she will remain loyal and true to her own intention and her own heart, as long as she has the power to do so, as long as she has the will to do so. So she doesn't have to worry about things not being completely right on paper. She can make it right individually within her own self. The reason I'm saying that is because I'm just feeling like job, or it's like, relationship with people. It's almost like that looks interesting, but I see that, so no way, oh, that person looks interesting, but I see that, and now I don't want to really talk to that person because I'm not sure who they are. Or within that job, oh yeah, I like to do that, but I'm observing this within that job, and all of a sudden that's not in alignment with me, so I'm not going to look at that, because she's aware of kind of what her drivers are. She's aware of what she's looking for. But the kind of message I want to give her is as long as you have that within your heart, you can take that to whatever situation that you find yourself in, and you can always say yes or no at any moment with any choice in any situation. So don't shut the door on an opportunity for a person just because there's one thing that you notice that you can't stand for.
Right.
That's what I'm seeing. So it's like, dive into things that you feel called to, even if they're not perfect on paper. And, your heart, your intention, and your integrity are going to make sure that you carry out everything that you need to do while you're there. And you got to trust that. Yeah. And then you'll find yourself to even, better people, a better situation at work. That's the number one thing that I'm feeling for her. It's like, sometimes you have to jump into a situation that's not perfect to come out of it finding the perfect situation for you, because it was just an avenue. It wasn't the final destination.
She says, oh my God, spot on. Totally call me out in a great way. Love that.
Awesome.
I was just thinking that, Ashley, too. I'm like, boy, I'm like, I think she's calling you out, but I think it's awesome.
Cool.
I think it's awesome.
Cool. She understands.
Cool. So let's go on to the next one. Lenore, 9262.
9262. Okay. Lenore, 9262. Okay.
She says she's been struggling so much lately, so hopefully these numbers help her.
Oh, yes. Thank you. And I appreciate, if you want to say something in conjunction to your numbers, it just helps me to make sure that I'm looking at the right things for you. If you want me to focus on something rather than a general reading. So thank you for kind of telling me that you've been struggling. I'm going to look into your numbers to help give some perspective how things will change with the energy. Because life is a cycle. It's not meant to stay one way. Just know that. That's the name of the game. Nothing's going to stay one way. Okay.
And trust me, anybody out here listening and watching, if you want a more in-depth reading, you can definitely contact Kelly through her website, which we will give everything at the end of the show. Okay. So this is just literally the icing on top of the very cake, the cherry part that she's giving. So much goodness underneath too.
Ooh. What a nice way to say that. It's making me hungry too.
Not anything that's on your diet.
Cherry. I'm just thinking about like cherries and like whipped cream or something. I'm just like, I have like these flavors of cherries in my mouth as you're talking. I have no idea why. I'm like a cherry shake or something.
Oh, that sounds good. Yeah. I mean, it can be anything under the cherry. It doesn't have to be like flour and sugar. It can be whatever.
Exactly.
A fruitcake underneath.
I'm down with that. Okay.
There you go.
So 8 and 1. Yep. Okay. Oh, perfect. All right. So, okay. So the number one thing that I'm seeing is that Sherry has so many 2s within her chart. So I'm seeing like three 2s with just how I'm calculating for her. If you look at her birthday, 62, you have like another 2 in there with her personal day. So 2s follow Sherry. And anytime somebody has so many 2s, they've really come to this life to really understand the laws and the lessons of relationships. And 2s, we talked about earlier in the show, is all about balance. So you can have really high highs and really low lows, and life is kind of always kind of teeter-tottering because you're not just in the equation, you're very, very deeply affected by other people. And when you have all these twos, oh my gosh, it's all about, your life is about learning about emotional energy. Like, you've signed a contract to come to Earth. This is what, I'm not saying that I know exactly how Earth contracts work,
Right.
but you signed a contract in, in the way that I believe, in my perspective of how I'm defining seeing your energy, where it's like, you're going to have to learn about multiple relationships. You're going to have to meet multiple, men, and you're going to have to figure very different kinds of lessons with different types of people. So you understand what the heart is about, and you understand staying true to your heart in the process. And when we're dating a lot, or we're in all these emotional situations where we are like, wow, what's next, right? Like, I've already been hit by the bus. What's next? Right? Like, there's that feeling of despair, and we can become cynical too. And really, at its heart, too, is the antithesis of being cynical, because it's all about like love and peace and, hope and, giving people, I guess, a place where they can feel safe. But if that's tried, and if that is tested, and if that is taken for granted by others, we can get really cynical, because we are constantly like, how can I protect myself next? What do I have to look out for in this situation? How is somebody going to take advantage of me now? And if you, how can I put this? The number one thing a two can do is to learn about their energy. Like, you have to learn about being an empath. Maybe you've already started the journey, but to learn, okay, yeah, there you go. To learn really about, how you're so sensitive to others that you become others sometimes, and to learn that push and pull of that empathetic energy, and to really stay strong in understanding your boundaries versus another person's boundaries. You feel other people so deeply, and it's almost like you can anticipate their needs, that sometimes, because it's so strong, your empathetic nature, that you forget about your own needs. And then that creates, when we forget about our own needs, oh my gosh, it doesn't matter what your numbers are, your life will be up and down. Because when we're not taking care of ourselves, or when we're not putting ourselves first, even if we're, in a relationship, our priorities become backwards. And then we can't be the people that the person who found us, how can I put this? We can't be the people that attracted the person that found us. Okay. So all of a sudden, you're in this relationship, and somebody goes like, well, like, you changed, or I didn't see this when I met you. It's because all of a sudden you're so deeply in their energy that you're not fully being yourself. And that's why you're having such inconsistencies with the men that you attract. Okay. So there's a lot going on here, and yeah, it's not easy. But my biggest piece of advice for you is to really make sure that you learn more about the nature of being an empath, and learning through the guidance of others and spiritual wisdom of how you can find people who are stronger within themselves, where they are not looking to you for something. Going into relationships, going forward, and making kind of like lists of your perfect person. I don't want to say perfect person, making a more thoughtful consideration of who you want to meet, making, a list of certain qualities that would be harmonious within your nature. And the number one thing I'm trying to say is, two whole people coming together. So you're not saving someone, they're not saving you. You're not lifting someone up when they're down. that you can enjoy life, they can enjoy life, and you're helping each other along the way, not all this push and pull and struggle and surprise and, wow, you're this way and now you're that way. Two whole people where you can expect certain outcomes and you're not getting shocked left and right. And that's a healthy relationship. That's a healthy model to lean into. The last thing I'm going to say, because I'm getting really psychic. The last one I started going psychic. Now I'm getting really psychic in this one. I want to shift into the numbers. So you are in a year of 7. So then this is all about slowing down. 7 is about slowing down and prepping your mind to do the work. It's about looking at things that you've missed. All right. It's about taking in those truths and applying them. And next year is going to be more about applying them and the big ahas of, wow, this is working. I listened to myself and I'm actually getting better results. Holy cow. So I actually like next year for relationships far better than this year. This year is about going within, doing the work. You're in a 7, and 7's all about contemplation, not being out in the public as much, taking inventory of self. Next year, yes, you have to pay attention to your health, but if you're doing the work, you're going to get results. If you're not doing the work, if you're not, tending to your needs, you might have some backfires, but the potential is there to actually have a way easier time in the relationship realm next year. So hang on, take care of yourself. Please learn about your energy and start there. And that will change who you attract, and that will change what you allow. And that will open your heart to really see what's going on with the equation with you and others.
I love that. She says you were so right. I morph into whatever I think they want, not what I want. I love that.
And that will be the game changer when you assess what you want, who you are, and that, knowledge of being an empath all ties in with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love that. I love that. You have done such wow, Kelly. The readings you've given today is amazing. I wish we could just stay here for hours. You know what I mean? But I'm going to beg Kelly to come back in January, so if you didn't get your reading today, trust me, we'll be back on again, over and over again, because I love Kelly and people love to watch Kelly. So, Lenore says, thank you so much. So how can people find you? How can people find Kelly to get their more in-depth readings?
Sure. You can book a reading with me through my website at energeticsessions.com. You can find me on social media platforms under Facebook, Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn, Twitter. Type in Kelly Brickel, and I'm under psychic mediumship or healing or, teaching, mentoring. So you can find me quite easily. And I'm doing a special for anyone who mentions the broadcast with DeEtte. They are getting an hour reading for $100. So how cool
my God, that's huge.
I want to do something for the holidays, and I'm just like, let's get out.
Let's do that.
And that is with a numerology reading or a numerology hybrid reading, psychic and numerology. So it's in honor of the numerology broadcast.
I love that. So everybody, you heard it. Okay. If you want that in depth, go to Kelly. Just mention School Through Spirit because she'll be there. Oh, I love that.
So if you want a reading, there you go. I have some other deals going on for readings, but that's the best deal you'll find. So that's a good one.
You can't get a better deal under cheapreadings.com anywhere. I'm telling you. Oh God, I think don't tell that I said that, because I'm sure somebody's going to grab that. Be right next to Priceline.
Should be like WLTK-DB, the place for, readings and the best deals in the universe.
That's right. There you go. It works. I love that. Thank you so much, Kelly. I did, you know what? While you were talking this last time, I heard a date. I sent it to you.
Oh,
You're
cool.
gonna have to let me know if it resonates with you.
I
I
had
don't
to
know.
look. I'm not even. I wasn't aware.
I know. It was just like it said, pull out your calendar. I did. I'm like, what am I doing? And it's like, okay, I guess I'll send it to her. Let's see. So I'm not going to tell it's anything anybody, but Kelly agrees to the date, or if it looks good for her, if not, well, she'll pick a new one. But I'm hoping for January sometime. But thank you so much, Kelly, for coming back on. I appreciate you. Trust me, everybody, we're going to have Kelly on more and more and more because I love when she comes on, and the response is always amazing. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, DeEtte.
Bless
I'm
you.
being with you.
Oh, bless you so much. You have a great day. Everybody, I'm going to take a really, really short break here on School Through Spirit with WLTK-DB.com. We'll be back in a moment.
Meet Nicole Strickland. One of the leading San Diego paranormal researchers, Nicole offers a gentle and humble approach to working with spirit energies. Being the founder of the San Diego Paranormal Research Society, Nicole is no stranger to the unknown. Due to Nicole's vast knowledge of the paranormal, she is widely sought after for speaking engagements on topics like Children of the Paranormal, Paranormal Investigation 101 and 102, History of Spiritualism, and more. Not only does Nicole research the afterlife, but also writes about it, and is the author of several books pertaining to the paranormal and its history. Nicole has appeared on television shows like My Ghost Story, Travel Channel's Famously Afraid, Good Morning San Diego, and more. Have a conference or event coming up? Contact Nicole on her website, authornicolestrickland.com. That's authornicolestrickland.com.
Hey, welcome back to School Through Spirit. This is DeEtte Renee again, your host here on WLTK-DB. I've had the great pleasure of having Kelly Brickel with me today. She is just a beautiful numerologist, psychic medium, healer, master teacher, just a godsend. And I'm so blessed that she's not only just to call her my friend, but to bring her on as often as I get to. So I have a few moments here before the end of the show, and I just want to tell you a little bit about the schedule. So what I'm going to do is bring up the host because quite frankly, because as I'm using my phone, I'm using the computer, I'm using a little bit everything I have is tied up. So let's kind of go over these shows. Every Monday morning, you have myself, DeEtte Renee, here with School Through Spirit. I'm on at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Tuesday mornings, we have got Christina Bloom. She is Be the Change, and she is on at Tuesday mornings at 9 a.m. Tuesday evenings, we have got Kevin Mackey on. He is Newbridge Radio. We have got, after that, Haunted Voices with Todd Bates. And beyond that is Pete Orbea with Paranormal Pete. Missy and Nicole bring up Wednesday evenings. I apologize. It's a brand new show. I'm not quite remembering the name of it. I wish I could, but trust me, they're back on. They were everybody just loved their show. They just left for a little bit, revamped, and they've come back on. Thursday evenings, we've got Nicole Strickland on, and then Friday evenings, we have Renee Rodriguez. Just beautiful, 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 beautiful shows. And you know what? With that being said, if you ever want to have your own show, if you have a voice that you want to use and you want to literally be a part, have a platform to stand on, anything paranormal. And trust me, paranormal does not mean ghosts. Okay. Paranormal means anything out there that's just really not normal. Okay. No matter what it is. If you're a ufologist, if you're whatever, come on. You know what I mean? We'd love to have you on with us. Okay. Love it, love it, love it. Make sure you just go to the website, WLTK-DB.com. It says right on there, host a show. Click on that button. There you go. If you want to advertise, if you want advertising, this is really inexpensive advertising, guys. I'll tell you what, you just click on advertising and it's going to tell you where, anything you want to know about it, you can send a message to the producer, work with him. It's very inexpensive. Let me see, $20 a month. Oh, that's cheap. That's for audio. If you want video, $40 a month. Not expensive at all. Okay, not expensive at all. And it's, trust me, I've bought advertising through my own station. I love this through the station. Todd, my producer, does just an amazing job of putting those advertisements together. They are, throughout the week. Remember that advertisement does go into our podcast, which means, yes, you're only going to get it, however many times a week live, but it's there permanently. You're buying a permanent advertising that's going to be in the podcast form. Okay. So that advertisement stays with us forever on the podcast, because once we've done run it, can't take it back out, guys. So it's a huge bang for your buck. Now, Kelly agreed. Oh my God, she sent the date that she agrees. I'm going to write it down in stone, down in pencil in my book. So for you guys watching, if you want to watch again, if you want anything again with Miss Kelly, she agreed to January 17th, guys. Kelly has agreed to January 17th. We have put her in the book. So if you want another show with numerology, that's the one to go for. Again, I'm running classes that are starting tonight for beginners mediumship. Tomorrow night is intermediate psychic mediumship development. Trust me, you want a class, I'm starting them up. I'm starting them up right away. Now, one last word before I say goodbye today. Next week. Oh my God, this is huge. We've got Leslie Sampson back on, guys. This is her book launch. Her book launch is with Leslie Sampson. This book launch is for Llewellyn Books. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but a lot of times if you're buying books, you're probably getting it through Hay House or you're getting through Llewellyn. And her book is out for launch next Monday, November 8th. And we are doing our launch here on this show. So please tune in to next week. We are going to talk everything about twin flames, everything about Leslie Sampson, everything about our book and where you can find it, get it. And you know what? This is where you're going to see it, because we've been planning this for a year. Okay. So I will see you next Monday morning, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. This is DeEtte Renee here on School Through Spirit, WLTK-DB.